Hey Josh, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
I just heard it, you speaking.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Crosscut. I'm your co-host Chris.
And I'm your co-host, Josh.
Today we are going to do a little comedy thing that we're going for. Like we started with Dude, Where's My Car? We're gonna keep the train rolling with Dumb and Dumber. So I decided to go with Dumb and Dumber this week because why not? It's funny, it's stupid. We're on the band roll of that so far. And I hadn't seen Dumb and Dumber in quite a while. Like you see the little reels on Facebook or TikTok of the movie once in a while. But just to sit down and watch it, it's still as funny as I can remember. Um, Petey, poor Petey, R.I.P.
We got no food, no jobs, our past never fell off. That's one of my favorite lines in the whole movie. When you picked this one, I was so happy, dude. I was so happy. First off, I'd been meaning to want to just watch this movie, like rewatch this movie in general, not even just for
Okay.
this, but just in general. Because same, I've actually not seen this movie for a while,
Hmm.
but it's a movie that I can still quote almost perfectly to this day. When I was watching it
Oh yeah.
last night, so last week for Dude, Where's My Car? I was telling you like there'd be a time where a scene would be coming up and I would say the line for the character right
All right.
before the character says the line. And that was maybe like a few times I did that for Dude, Where's My Car? Dumb and Dumber was like
Every other
every
line, right?
scene. I was literally in my bed watching the movie, verbally saying it out loud, laughing, and then the character
Yep.
says it.
Yep.
Um,
I was doing the
I
same
was
thing.
I was laughing so hard. Yeah, this movie is I still think this is the greatest comedy of all time. Jim Carrey is brilliant in this movie.
Oh yeah.
His It really goes to show his comedic genius that was about to burst onto the scene in 1994, and this really was the
Hmm.
beginning of Jim Carrey as a movie star because this is the same year as Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Alrighty then.
I think that came out just a little bit before this, and then he had The Mask, Liar Liar, and all those hits
All
that
right.
started to come out right after. But Dumb and Dumber is always my go-to. I first saw this movie when I was 13 years old.
Hmm.
One of my best friends from childhood had me come over, and I remember we watched this on PlayStation 2,
Oh wow.
DVD. I remember eating cookies and cream ice cream and watching Dumb and Dumber. And probably for like a good 2 years after that, this was the movie I watched the most in my life.
Mhm.
I feel like it was always on like TBS or TNT
Yeah.
growing up. Like
Yeah.
it was just always
Same
on.
here. It's always
And I
on
think,
TV.
yeah, and I think that's why I probably haven't seen it in a while. Maybe the same for you. It's just because it was, now that you don't really watch cable as much anymore, that's one of
Sure.
those movies that we would watch all the time when you were younger, and because you don't have cable, probably
Yep.
don't watch it as much anymore. So yeah, I just feel like this is to this day. There's an inside joke with my family. This is still the most referenced movie in our household.
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb
Wow.
and Dumber. Yeah.
I
Anytime we go out to eat, and anybody orders a hamburger, my dad will go, "So how's your burger?"
How's your burger? We'll tell you
Bills
after you
are
eat your burger.
good. Bills are good. Out with the bad, in with the good. Out with the bad, in with the good.
I'll get the pills.
Out with the bad, in with the good. Out with the bad. It's a lot
Oh,
easier if you just let loose. Oh my
just let
god,
it,
this
just let loose.
this movie. I actually ended up watching the unrated version, which I'd never seen before. I don't
Uh,
actually recommend it because it
I
really
don't think I
doesn't
saw it.
add much to it. I would just say go with the theatrical cut.
I think
It's like
that's what
six
I
minutes.
saw, the theatrical cut, because I had to look it up online. It was like nowhere streaming.
Yeah, I got
So,
mine from the library.
oh,
So
okay.
they just have the unrated version, which it's like 6 minutes longer. It's really unnecessary. It's just
Yeah,
some scenes are like extended, but
okay.
I just say, yeah, definitely just stick with the theatrical cut. But oh my God, this movie is I mean, where do we? So where are we starting here, Chris? You take it
I
away.
don't know. Like, and just
Well, we
starting
get
from
introduced to our main characters both with driving sequences.
That's right. That's right. Lloyd in his limo and
It's okay. I'm a limo driver.
I'm a limo driver and walks off the damn thing
Fell off the jetway again.
again. Yeah, again. While
Harry.
Harry's in his dog covered van getting
Mhm.
all mustard all over the damn dogs. Oh man.
There's actually I never noticed this before just because probably the last time I saw this I wasn't as deep into like film knowledge, but the lady that plays the when he drops the dogs off and she comes up and
Mhm.
I forgot the name that he calls her, like Mrs. Primpet or something like that, but that's Lynn Shay. She I didn't realize this was a New Line movie, which a little deep dive. New Line is
Yeah, I didn't know
started
that
by
either.
Bob Shay. Bob Shay owned New Line, started it back in the
Ah.
day. Lynn Shay's a sister. She, of course, was very known for, she was in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. She is the lady from the Insidious movies.
Mhm.
But I totally didn't even realize that that was her in this little cameo. So I thought that was a funny thing to mention.
That that went over my head. I did not pay attention to that. Just going scene by scene, there's not one dull moment.
Every scene is
Keeps on
funny.
rolling. It
Every
just
scene
keeps
is
on
just
rolling.
funny as hell. They get to the apartment and they're living in this, you know, dump.
Dump. Yeah, that's
Did
exactly
you
what it
know?
is. Just a dump.
Did you notice the scene when they're running away from the criminals? There's a guy peeing on the wall in the background.
I did notice that.
He's
Yeah.
actually credited. He's in the credits. I think he's like guy peeing on wall or something like that. If you look at the credits, um,
The
but
gas man. They forgot to
this is
pay the
when.
gas.
Did you pay the gas bill? Do you realize what you've done?
Done.
No, so one of my favorite actually. So they get back to the apartment. They both got fired from their jobs,
Mm.
and uh Lloyd tells Harry that I'm just gonna go out, and he says, well, just we only have so much money, just the bare essentials, and
Bare
he goes,
essentials. Two
what do I
cases
look
of
like, an
beer.
idiot? And the cut to him with the biggest cowboy hat, 2 cases of beer. If you look in the box, he's got like little like flyers and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
he
like
finds a little
pinwheels.
like one of those like Schmut magazine things where you got to put the quarter in. And one of my
Oh.
favorite lines is well, this whole sequence is just hysterical. Little old lady on the cart stops, and he says,
Hey, I guess they're right. Senior citizens, although slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose.
don't
Yeah.
you go dying on me.
Oh my god.
Cut to him running or just like slamming the door of the apartment. I got robbed by a sweet old lady on a motorized cart.
I didn't
I
even
didn't
see it
even see
coming.
it coming. Where's the booze? Oh man. So yeah, one of my favorite lines is, I got robbed by a sweet old lady on a motorized cart. And that's when we get introduced to our main plot of the movie, which is
Mhm.
the idea that they got to get out of Rhode Island and they got to go to Aspen.
Aspen, California.
Yeah, California, beautiful. But they decide to go to Aspen, but I don't know, Lloyd. The French are assholes.
Oh, that's right.
A little place where the beer flows like wine. Because the whole story is Lloyd has this lady's briefcase that he fell in
Right.
love with from this brief ride he gave her to the airport,
And he
and they
happens
decide that
to
they can go to Aspen so that she can put him into the social pipeline, as he says. So that's where this all kicks off, and then it becomes a road trip movie for a while.
It does. It does.
I
The road
forgot like how
trip.
this movie is kind of broken up. It's like half road trip, but then it's like half them in Aspen kind of doing stuff there.
Pretty much. Like
Yeah.
you barely see them in Rhode Island. It's just the very opening thing. Really.
Yeah, like the first like 15-ish minutes or so.
Yeah. Yeah, the rest yeah, you're right. The rest is all road trip, stopping at several places, going the wrong way.
Oh, we'll get to that, going the wrong way. So we begin the driving, and Jim Carrey snacking on some chips he got from the gas station. Jeff
Mm.
Daniels gets a little upset because he says, "Well, we can't have any. We're on a very tight budget." And he says,
You-
"Well, I was able to
I
make a
sold
little
some
bit of extra
stuff.
cash, $25. Where'd you get $25?
I
Sold some stuff.
You know, some
I'll
baseball
pack of
cards, some
marbles,
marbles.
Petey.
You sold my dead bird to a blind kid? Lloyd, what do you... Petey didn't even have a head.
Harry, I took care of it.
Cut to this movie is so
Pretty bird.
great with its cut to humor. A
Yeah,
freaking blind kid in a wheelchair petting a
dead
dead bird
duct
with
tape.
duct tape wrapped around its neck.
Pretty bird.
Oh my
Pretty
goodness.
bird.
Polly,
Pretty
want a cracker?
bird.
So we also have our criminals. Why don't you talk about the criminals, Chris? Because this is your episode. You should be doing the talking.
Yes, after the dead bird scene. Right, they go back to see if they came back, and then leaves a note like, well, sorry about this, gas man. We owe you one, but we'll be in Aspen. Like, how
Spelled
the hell
wrong.
do you know they have gas? I have gas. They're professionals.
There's a whole recurring joke throughout this movie of these guys are good. Or are they feds?
Are they
These
feds?
guys are-
No, they're more than that.
These guys are hardcore.
They're good.
So yeah, now our criminals are chasing after our Harry and Lloyd, our main two characters.
Mhm. And they end up catching up to them at a motel that the Harry and Lloyd end up having like the sweetheart honeymoon suite.
Well, the whole hotel was a sweetheart honeymoon hotel. Did you catch
Oh,
that? Yeah, the whole
I didn't
hotel
pay
was
attention to
themed
that.
that way.
But it's
Well,
just
hold
the
on, you gotta
bathtub.
You gotta talk about the diner scene with Seabass.
Oh, sea bass. First of all, that was disgusting.
When he spits in his burger.
Yeah, it's like greenish brown, whatever the fuck he was drinking. It's just you spilled the salt. That's bad luck. You have to toss it over your shoulder. Okay. The whole shaker. Like, oh shit.
Kick his ass, Seabass! Lloyd actually pulls a smooth one over. This is one of the
Oh
brief
yeah.
times in the movie where he is clever. And
Yeah, that's probably the only time he's actually clever.
Yeah.
But it worked. The fact that it worked to have
Mhm.
the Seabass pay for their meal. Like, yeah, Seabass offered to like get our check. Seabass. Yeah, right over there. All right.
Yes.
All right. That's when the real road trip begins. Right after the diner scene.
Yep. And then we have our cop drinking Lloyd's pee.
Oh yeah. Who the hell pees that much? He'd put it like in 6 bottles. 6 bottles full of pee. Like, you're drinking while driving? Oh yeah, shut up. Give me that wise ass. But Lloyd's fantasies, his daydreams.
Yeah.
His
Jim,
sweater friends.
this just goes to show the brilliance of Jim Carrey in this fantasy sequence that he's having where he's picturing him and Mary. He shows up at the house and doves come behind her when she opens the door, and they go out to dinner, and he's just so prompt that he starts getting in a fight with all the restaurant employees in this kung fu style
Chef.
scene.
With the chef. Yep.
The chef.
Like, put in the doggy bag. There you go.
But it just kind of reminded me of just like how sort of outrageous this movie is. Like it's just kind
It
of like
really is.
extreme with its humor, which I appreciate.
It is. It is. And it doesn't go the borderline that like it's disgusting. Like
Mhm.
it's there, like the beer bottles and stuff like that, but you don't actually see like when Harry's
It's-
like shits in her toilet and he has to like dump it out the window.
Yeah, it's borderline raunchy, and that's why I didn't
Mhm.
like the direct or the unrated version, because It's a little bit more raunchy. Not, it doesn't go that
Yeah.
extreme, but it's a little bit more raunchy. And I didn't really care for it because I like how the theatrical cut
Mhm.
is like it doesn't cross that line. It gets very close to like I still consider this a movie you could watch with like your family and it not
Yeah.
being like awkward.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, borderline raunchy is okay.
Like
Still has that humor.
there's swearing, but they don't ever like drop an F bomb at any point.
No.
It's pretty like tame for the swearing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I think they'll say something like bull crap or something like that.
they say bullshit
Oh yeah, they
once
do.
or twice or yeah, but
Oh yeah, we
asshole, stuff like
we
that.
we mixed a bulldog with a Shih Tzu. We call it
Called it
bullshit.
the bullshit. Oh, did you
And
notice the opening credits in the movie? Like everything is like misspelled intentionally. Like instead of directed, it's directed, and produced is like with PROODCED.
I did not pay attention to
Yeah,
that.
it's all
Shit.
misspelled intentionally.
Okay. Okay. I have to pay attention next time.
So yeah,
Mhm.
eventually our bad guys catch up to them, and our main good fella gangster bad guy played by Mike Starr.
Mhm.
That's where he gets in the car and he realizes that these guys are just kind of idiots at this point. Like this whole time, he even laughs it off in the diner. He's just like, "Oh, you guys are just in the wrong place at the wrong time."
Wrong
So he kind of
time.
realizes when he's getting a ride that these guys are actually just kind of buffoons
Right.
when they're singing their song. Who needs
Want
a
to hear the most exciting?
radio?
Want
And
to
then
hear
they
the most
pick up that
exciting
family and they're
movie?
singing. And then yeah, they're at the diner. They're eating these hot peppers, and he decides he has to step out for a minute. And then he gets back. He asks him where they got the suitcase. He's like, "Oh no, it just belongs to some lady." That's when he realizes it
You
was
don't
just
really
a
know her?
misunderstanding. Then
Right.
he eats his burger, which has got the hot peppers, which is what causes his ulcer to act up. He falls on the
I need
floor,
my
and
pills.
Lloyd has
I
a
need my
very
pills.
inappropriate point where he goes. Then he goes, "Hey
I
man, we
know
were just goofing.
CPR.
Out with the bad, in with the good. Out with the bad, in with the good." Tries to French kiss him. Yep, gives him the rat poison. He gets killed. They piece out of there. That's when the feds are involved. They're
Right.
basically have this whole uh, thing set up for when they get to Colorado, and then we see as Lloyd and Harry approach Colorado, Lloyd takes over driving
Right.
and decides
Goes the wrong
to
way.
play a prank on Harry by plugging his nose and not paying attention to the road. Literally goes the wrong way. Instead of
Yep.
going west, he goes east. And as they're driving, they realize that John Denver is full of shit because the Rocky Mountains I thought were going to be a lot rockier than that.
Hmm.
Turns out they're in like Iowa or Nebraska.
So some flat land somewhere.
And
Yep. Of
understandably, Harry is pissed with his butt crack
course.
hanging out as he's sitting in
Of
the
course.
cornfield.
Yep.
Lloyd just says, "I'm only human, Harry."
Well, we can't whine
So
about this anymore.
So Harry decides to hitchhike back home.
And then
Lloyd is then
Lloyd.
we see him driving on his little motorized bike,
Yep.
which he traded for the van straight up.
Yeah. A broken down motorbike for the van.
Gets
Ugh.
70 miles to the gallon. And this is one of the biggest quotes as well in this movie where Jeff Daniels says, "You do something like this and totally redeem yourself."
So
That's a quote that I would use
uh,
all the time when I was younger.
totally
And totally redeem
redeem
yourself.
yourself.
And now, Chris, we're finally in Aspen. Take it away.
They finally arrive in Aspen, freezing their ass off with booger icicles coming out of the fact when they got to that when they stopped and Harry's just like stuck to Lloyd, getting off the bike. That was funny. But yeah. Then what they go to the phone book to see where she lives. Like, she
What's your
doesn't
name?
live
What's your last
here.
name? I don't know.
I don't know.
I
Starts
just
with
like
an
that he's just
S.
so casually. He's just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Starts with
I don't know.
Swanson. Maybe it's on the briefcase. Samsonite. I was way off.
Yes, and but yeah, and then what? Okay, no, they didn't find him. They start fighting like, you came all the way over here. We can't find her. I'm going home. No, wait a
Well,
minute.
you got to mention the extra pair of gloves that Lloyd had. Yeah,
Oh,
my hands are
yeah.
starting to get a little sweaty.
Maybe you should wear these extra gloves. My hands are starting to get sweaty.
Extra gloves? You've had this pair of extra gloves this whole time?
Yeah, we're in the Rockies.
I'm gonna kill you,
I'm gonna
Lloyd.
kill you.
And then yes, we finally find out.
What's
we
in
already
the-
knew.
Yeah.
Lloyd and Harry find out what's been in this briefcase the whole time, and it's a
Big
shit
wad of
ton of
cash.
money. And this is
Mhm.
another beautiful comedic editing moment where they go, "We're only gonna get the bare essentials," and we see them pull up in a friggin'
Ferrari.
sports
or what the
car,
hell it is.
whatever, and the fanciest hotel
The ridiculous snow gear.
with like boxes of stuff coming out of the car. Jim
Shipping
Carrey
100s
going,
to everyone.
there you go.
And
There you
there-
go. There you go.
you go.
The nicest suite that like the president of Japan or something is coming next week,
Yeah.
they say.
Right.
And of
always
course their
tipping
whole
hundreds though. Always tipping
Solution
hundreds.
is going to be IOUs. That
Briefcase.
car was
full of
275,000. You might want to hang on to that one. So
Yeah,
now it's just them pampering themselves. They went
of
from
course.
a whole half of the movie of being poor and struggling, and now they are living the high life.
Oh yeah, blowing
Literally
money
the high
left
life
and
in the
right.
Rockies.
Yes. the
Well, no,
bartender.
they go to the OWL, the Preservation Society, because that's where they find her in the paper because they see that
Oh,
she's
that's right.
doing
Yeah.
the preservation. They go there. That's when they wear the beautiful orange and blue tuxedos.
Texas.
Jim Carrey is just being genius once again, while he's standing at the bar and he
Mhm,
psychs himself
mhm,
out. So he sends
mhm.
Harry over to talk to her, and that's where this whole thing of Harry getting involved with Mary, stepping on Lloyd's toes becomes an issue, and that's another big
mhm.
plot in the movie at this point. So Chris, take it away. What happens now?
Well, yeah, Harry goes off to get her attention and try to lure her back to Lloyd. And he ends up actually falling. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, sure, I'll go. Uh, but right before, like the one line I always remember,
Nice set of hooters you got there.
the owls. Oh yes, and Lloyd's end up killing one of them with the damn cork. Like how does someone kill a bird with a damn cork? They must be professionals.
These guys are good.
They're good.
These guys are good.
They're good.
We killed their
Uh,
parrot. They kill our bird.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah. I feel bad for Lloyd though, like spending like most of the day at the bar just waiting for her, and then the FBI person that's like been following them.
That we meet at the gas station when Harry sets himself on fire, which we
Right.
totally skipped over because we get reunited with Seabass at this gas station.
Right. That's right. That's right. Oh, that's I left the hardest of that part.
Weird how your mind just goes blank.
For God's sake, just give me the damn number!
And yeah, when he sets himself his foot's on fire.
Well,
Yeah,
no.
Jeff Daniels in this movie. We have to talk about Jeff Daniels.
Yes.
I mean, obviously Jim Carrey is going to be forever the star of this movie.
Yes.
And that's not to take anything away from Jeff Daniels because
He has its moments.
is no, not his moments. He is beginning to end brilliant as well in this movie. He
Yeah.
is so good comedically. And this is a guy who doesn't do comedy that much. Like I feel like I've always seen him do more drama. He's an
Yeah.
amazing dramatic actor. I've seen him do great dramedy,
Oh yeah.
do great drama, I meant, or dramedy. But him
Both.
in this movie, his facial expressions, amazing chemistry with Jim Carrey. And
that's-
you know, this was a movie that he was basically being told by his agent, like, don't do this movie. Like, this is going to kill your career. Jim Carrey's obviously going to be the lead. You will only be in his shadow. And he decided to take it upon himself and be like, no, I want to do this movie. And
Right.
I'm happy that he did, because I think he is so good in this. And I think it's great to have an
Yes,
actor
yes.
like that, because if you had just cast another strictly comedic actor, then that might have been overkill at that point. But by having Jeff Daniels, he balances it out a little bit.
He
He
does.
is the yin to the yang of him and Jim Carrey. So Lloyd and Harry have a little bit of well, Lloyd gets a little jealous because he realizes that Harry's actually hanging out with
The
his
girl of his
girl
dreams.
when he tells him that he's going to go see a movie.
Right, right. But still, Lloyd still ends up finding Mary, and how about
Sure.
it's more one of a million. Like,
So you're telling me there's a
the
chance?
chance. Yes.
Yeah.
I'd say more like 1 out of a million.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
Yep, yep, yep.
And
That's
then he
when
goes to
everyone.
the door, and that's when the Nicholas guy's there.
Right,
He's,
right.
he mentions the husband, and he goes, "Husband,
Husband.
what was this
don't
1 in a
talk about
million
1 in a
talk?"
million. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
One of my
But-
favorite lines in this. Okay, I've said this 100 times. One of my favorite lines in this. There's so many lines, but one of the lines I was actually thinking about right before I watched this movie. So Jeff Daniels meets up, finds out the woman's an FBI agent. She
Right.
plants a bulletproof vest on him.
Yeah.
So there's a back and
Oh,
forth.
yeah.
He's like, shoot me, and Jeff Daniels finally gets shot. He's laying on the bed. Lloyd thinks he's dead. Jeff
Right.
Daniels gets up, shoots his gun, misses the
Misses
entire time.
completely.
Harry, you're alive, and you're a horrible shot.
Harry! You're alive! And you're a horrible shot.
It's one of my favorite lines in
Yeah.
the movie.
Oh, shot.
What if he shot you in the face? What if he shot me in the face?
That was a risk
That's
for
a
Lloyd to
chance
take.
we're willing to take.
Okay.
But yes,
How
it
come,
turns
how
out
come I didn't
Mary-
get a gun? Did you get a gun?
Turns out Mary is married.
Mary is
Which
married.
did you catch? I don't know if this was in the unrated version, but there's a scene where Lloyd's in the bathroom, hyping himself up for his date, thinking, and he says, "Merry Christmas." Oh, that's gonna be such a great name, because if they got married, her name would have been Merry Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, he did. That is in the theatrical version.
Okay,
saw
I
that.
couldn't remember if that was just theatrical or if that was in the uncut, but okay.
Oh, yeah.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
But sadly, she's married. And then one more great fantasy sequence at the end where she goes, "Bobby, I want you to meet this kindest, most gentlest man." And then he is like, "He's got a gun." And he is shooting him relentlessly. Another just great.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey and his facial expressions. My God.
Oh,
It's
that was like
just,
the peak of all his expressions. It really is.
just brilliant. That's all I can say about him. Him and Jeff Daniels, absolutely a dynamic duo of comedy. I've never seen the sequel. I think it was just kind of 20 years too late. I just heard it wasn't that good. I've seen the prequel when Harry met Lloyd or whatever
yeah.
it was called. Kind of
Yeah.
a goofy but kind of fun movie. I
It,
remember
it was fun. It was fun.
people hated it, but I kind of enjoyed it at the time.
I like the sequel because it was a sequel and it was the original actors, obviously, but yeah, it wasn't as funny as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah.
the comedy was written differently.
That was also just like beginning of the Farrelly brothers, who went on to do such great movies like There's Something About Mary, Me, Myself, and Irene, Shallow Hal. They did all these great comedies. They've actually been doing more drama, like Peter Farrelly directed Green Book, which won Best Oscar like 5 years ago.
Okay.
But
Okay. I didn't know you did.
yeah, Dumb and Dumber, still the great, me personally, the greatest comedy of all time. I will always laugh at this movie. I will probably quote it for the rest of my life. Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, just a match made in heaven. Just two guys that came together at the right time in their careers. And yeah, Dumb and Dumber. Do I recommend it? Bet your ass I do. Go watch it if you can find it. I had to get at the library.
I had to look it up online. So that's our pick for Dumb and Dumber. So
And next week we're gonna keep the Jeff Daniels train going with a movie a little bit earlier than that. Arachnophobia, another one that I've not seen in a while. Another movie that I just really want to rewatch. I've probably seen it maybe like once or twice as a kid, and I just kind of want to revisit it. It's a Steven Spielberg movie, I think. I think he produced it. But anyways, we'll be doing that for our next episode. So we look forward to keeping on the Jeff Daniels train. But anyways, so if you enjoyed the episode, make sure to hit that like button. If you didn't enjoy the episode, well, we're sorry. We'll do better next time. Also hit that subscribe button to stay up to date for future episodes.
Cup print moving on.
No, of course he would do it. All right, well, Chris and I got to go and be 2 oil boys for a bikini contest. Apparently, the 2 other guys just decided to not do the job.
You are in luck. There's a town about 3 miles that way. I'm sure you'll find a couple guys there.
Okay, thanks.